dark, but if I move any more that way, the sun is just gonna make me invisible. See? Hey y'all, this is Bree with the Bee Face, and today we have another Ready to Love review. This is the Miami Season 7, Episode 10. Last week we ended with a cliffhanger where Brandy had Swayze and Samson in the bottom, and then Tommy was like, no, I make the final decision. And so we come back this week, and as we thought, LJ is eliminated. That made Trinika upset. I think she figured that kind of wrote her ticket since LJ was gone, because he was kind of her main connection, and I feel like she knew that her and Randall weren't as solid as all the others. So there's that. So then they all go back inside, and Tommy comes in, and he's like, newlywed game, basically. And so the women have to choose who their partners are, because they're supposed to answer questions about whichever guy they choose. And so, let's see, Trinika and Jamala both chose Randall. Brandy and Kayla both chose Mike. Charisse chose Samson, and then Kadian chose Swayze. Now, the strongest connections in the house were out immediately, which is wild to me. And both Brandy and Jamala were feeling some type of way that Trinika and Kayla were getting all these questions right, and they're like, can we end this game now, please and thanks? In the end, Trinika and Randall win the prize, which is just this date outside of the retreat. So we hear Kayla say that's a waste of time because their connection is clearly not that strong. And it's so interesting to me because every time you cut to Randall doing something with someone else, he's always concerned about how Jamala is feeling, which makes me feel like it's not so one-sided between him and Jamala, because yes, Jamala's like, I feel some type of way, you being out here with these girls, and I want them all to know that it's me, like that you've already kind of made your decision, you're going through the process, but it's me and you, like that's kind of what I want from you. And Randall's like, well, we're going through the process, but every time he's off with somebody else, he's like, I'm looking at Jamala, I'm hoping Jamala's not upset, I wonder if Jamala's okay, I know she's gonna make a big fuss. Like, clearly it's not one-sided. So that was interesting to me. The date itself was kind of snoozy to me. Like they just were like looking deep into each other's eyes, and Randall understandably was kind of uncomfortable. He was like, this is odd, but if you like it, I love it, basically. So then they go back inside. Everybody in the kitchen is all booed up. Brandy and Mike are just hugged up and cooking something in the corner. You got Randall coming in talking about his date with Trinika, but then he's back with Jamala, and Kayla's sitting somewhere in the corner, and she's like, no one's checking up on me, like nobody's asking to see if I'm okay, no one's even saying goodnight, like it's just, no one cares, which I feel for her because it's an odd situation, and it just really kind of reinforces, I don't want to say, I feel like this is the trope that we've gone through all season, where it's like this kind of side chick deal, right? And it kind of re-emphasizes to me that she's just not anybody's first choice in that house. And so, but they still want to make sure that she's on their team though. So it's interesting. So we'll see that a little bit later in the episode, but there was that. So then they're at the end of the retreat. Randall's talking to Jamala. They're all hugged up outside by the pool, and he's just basically reiterating what he said earlier, which is like, we're going through this process. I need for you to chill and just be solid about what we have. Like, you know it's you. You know I'm here for you. And like, let's just leave it there. And she's like, yeah, but do these other girls know? And he's like, does it matter? Yes, it matters. Of course it matters what you're telling these other girls, of course. But I will say, to his credit, he's not telling these other girls, you know, it's just me and you. He's saying, we have a connection, I'm still feeling you, and I'm still figuring it out. But with Jamala, he's like, it's me and you. I'm still in the process, but it's me and you, right? So listen, they are in a lot deeper than it seems like anybody else is, to be honest. Um, so they're leaving the retreat. He puts Jamal in the car, gives her a kiss on the face, goodbye. Kayla's standing over there in the corner again, about to leave. Mike and Brandy are saying goodbye, and he's putting her in the car, and again, Kayla's just sitting over there in the corner somewhere, just before she leaves. Then before she leaves, Mike goes over to her and gives her a hug, and in her confessional, she's like, he was saying he's still in it, and he still wants to make sure that they further their connection, and he's sorry that she felt awkward throughout the retreat, whatever. And her thought is, you had to wait till everybody left to say that, specifically Brandy? Whack. Which I concur, but again, we're in the same trope of like, if I'm with my main girl, you don't exist, right? But I still want to make sure you're good and you on my side. So it's the same like side chick deal, but I don't want to say that because clearly that's not who you are. It's just kind of the position that these men kind of have you in, or like are operating as if you are. Not to say that that's who you are, not to say that you're even doing anything to further that. It's just kind of the situation as it stands. So then Charisse and Samson go on a date, and he goes to her business because she's an esthetician, and so he goes to get a facial from her, and they're talking, and she's like, some people cry, it's like I'm a therapist, and they just feel really good, and he's like, oh man, I haven't cried in like 10 years, which is odd to me, but who knows. It's like, I haven't cried in like 10 years, and so they have a little bit of a conversation about that. And so at the end of the date, Charisse is like, you're my strongest connection, but I would like to see a little bit more from you. And he's like, so you're having doubts or second thoughts, or you're questioning? And she's like, no, I just want you to open up more. And he's like, so after all of my actions and words, she's like, dude, I really just want to see a little more from you. That's it. That is all. I'm not arguing with you. I'm just saying, we're just having a conversation about where our relationship is, where we are in this process, right? He takes offense to that for some reason. I really don't understand, because I'm like, isn't this your job? Don't you? You would think as a life coach, he'd be a little bit more self-aware about how he's coming off in these situations, because it seems like he just went off out of nowhere. And in this case, Charisse wasn't even going crazy. She was being very calm with him, just expressing, I would like to see a little bit more from you. She's not even saying, I need big gestures, I need da-da-da. She's like, I would like for you to talk to me about you. That is it. I don't understand what the upset was on his part. So yeah, then his argument with that was basically like, well, it's only been a couple of weeks, and you're asking things I've already answered, and blah, 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 my actions and words. I call BS, by the way, because one, clearly you aren't opening up, because your caveat was, it's been a couple of weeks. It's only been this amount of time, blah, blah, blah. Even though we all know that in this process, you're supposed to be a little bit more accelerated. Number two, if it's things that you've said before, say it again. Maybe I don't remember. Maybe I didn't hear you. Maybe, other things were going on and I just don't remember. Say it again. Not that hard. Anyway, three, he's deflecting. It's a lot of deflection, because I really just feel like you could answer the question. My voice just went out right there. But anyway, I just feel like you could answer the question. It's not difficult, but you have all these excuses about why you can't, why you won't, why is she doing this, and blah, blah, blah. Like, you could just answer. Or maybe the answer is, I don't feel comfortable enough with you or about our connection to give you what you're looking for. I feel like that was kind of where what's his face was in the last DC season. The real fine one who looked a little bit like AJ, where he was with Sabrina and basically like, I am here with you, I'm telling you you're the connection. And she's like, well, I need more from you. We can't just go, say we're gonna ride off into the sunset, and then at the end of the day, I don't know anything about you. I don't wanna commit to that. Like, you have to show me something now. And then that dissolved, right? So, it's the same situation. Like, you need to be honest about what's going on in here. Like, you need to be honest. And it's a different situation than last season because Sabrina had multiple connections, like to the end, had a lot of connections. And at the end of the day, it's really just, being honest about where you are. That part shouldn't be hard. So then Randall and Kayla go on a date. Again, with the not being able to answer questions, I do give a little bit more credit to Randall because he's telling Jamala all the things and he's telling Kayla and Trinika none of them. So Kayla's basically like, what's up? Where are we? How you feeling? And he did apologize for the retreat and, acknowledge that it was probably awkward for her, and he's sorry he didn't really spend too much time with her, even though he did give her a lot of energy at the beginning until Kayla kind of went off on him. So that might have been Jamala's bad, to be honest. But yeah, so he apologized for that and really told her to her face, you're asking me a lot of questions that I cannot give you an answer to right now. Sorry. You can move accordingly, basically. And so there's that. I think he can give her an answer. If he had to make a decision right now, he'd probably choose Jamala. I think it's kind of that age-old adage of like, guys don't want to hurt feelings. Like, they don't want to hurt your feelings. And so they rather not be honest with you than give you the truth and hurt your feelings or make you walk away, right? So there's a thing. So then we get to the gentleman's lounge. It's interesting that they're still deliberating. Everybody knows where they are. Everybody knows where they are. There are only like 4 guys left. So I'm wondering if anyone is gonna get eliminated unless it's like between Samson and Swayze, because those connections are probably not strong. But in the past, they've let 4 couples go to the end. So if you're solid, then I'm sure that they would let you get to the end. But in the previews, it doesn't look like Samson and Charisse are solid. So they may be doing another elimination date. So for this week, the only people with multiple connections are Mike and Randall. And so it's really between those 2 guys and their girls, right? And so Kayla and Trinika are at the bottom. Kayla and Mike go out. Listen, when I was watching this, I was like, Mike, you are wild, because so they're talking about the retreat, and he apologized for her feeling, whatever kind of way that he didn't spend so much time with her, blah, blah, blah. And then she was like, well, you're my strongest connection. Didn't you know that? And he was like, no. She said, well, I picked you for that game. And he said, honestly, I just felt like you didn't want to pick Randall and be like chick number 3. I said, you are wild to say this to her face, but hey, if that's your truth, that's your truth. But she's like, no, that's not the case. And clearly I knew a lot about you, so what's the deal? So that's wild. Anyway, she's not going anywhere, which I figured. I mean, she has 2 connections as opposed to Trinika's 1, and that one is a little shaky. Randall and Trinika go out. It starts off real good. Then we get to the point where Randall has to deliver the news, and Trinika's like, you don't have to say nothing else. I don't want to hear it. So, I mean, at least she didn't go off like she did on Mike, but she was like, shut up. Basically, I don't want to hear nothing. Now, he did end up saying it, so I feel like a producer came in and was like, we have to say the tagline, like it's in your contract. We can't leave until he says it. And so he said it. She was like, God keep you and God bless you. Peace out. And she left. So Randall was feeling some type of way because he's like, I ain't never seen that side of her. I'm like, you should have asked Mike while you were busy asking him about Jamala. You should have asked Mike how that elimination date went and how she cussed him out. But Anyway, in the previews, it's the Meet the Family episode. So the men are meeting the women's families. Charisse and Samson get into it again. Swayze and Katie get into it again. You know, there they are. I mean, it's just par for the course at this point. Moral of the story is y'all get right to the end and show your whole tale. I am very disappointed in Samson. He was my favorite. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.